At weekends or in an emergency, the NHS relies on a team of volunteer motorcycle couriers. A bike can get to its destination quickly, and this is a service that costs the NHS nothing. In Glasgow, I'm meeting up with Jason, Kenny and Sarah Jane. They belong to a group of volunteer blood bikers on call 24 hours a day to keep Scotland's hospitals supplied.
We're the invisible people, you know. People just assume when they go to hospital that particular building has everything it needs, when in fact it can be spread out over, 20, 30 miles, and there's no transport infrastructure necessarily to get things from A to B.
What you've done is you've identified a need and also identified the fact that bikers will go for a ride for any reason at all. This is just an excuse for long rides.
No.
You get it? Come on.
It isn't really about the bikes. The reason we all volunteer and the reason we started this in the first place is to benefit the NHS.
There are 20 blood bike charities in Britain with hundreds of riders ready to respond. It's a service that's been running for over 40 years. This team in Glasgow is made up of 15 bikers sharing a fleet of 5 motorcycles. And there's something they've recently started to deliver that's making a big difference to many people's lives. Donated breast milk. Some maternity nurses use it to help premature babies during their first weeks, because breast milk helps develop a baby's immune system, reducing the risk of allergies and infections. The first milk bank opened 75 years ago, and there are now 17 in Britain. As I'm a biker myself, I've signed up to help collect supplies for Scotland's breast milk bank, located at Glasgow's York Hill Hospital. Debbie Barnett is the milk bank coordinator. So looking at babies that are premature specifically, what is it about donor milk that could help them?
It's much, much easier for these babies to digest breast milk, and there is evidence that shows that we can get these babies feeding more quickly. We can hopefully get them home a bit more quickly.
I can only imagine that it is valuable, otherwise you wouldn't be sending men in high-vis all over Scotland. We've been sent to collect a supply of milk from a donor mum.
For those of you who've never ridden a motorbike, the advantages are clear. If this was an emergency and we needed to get something vital somewhere in a hurry, I'd just be going straight through this.
Hello, you must be Lynette.
Yes.
And is this Logan?
It is.
You are gorgeous.
Get some filled ones from your fridge.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you want me to... Lynette makes sure Logan has all the milk he needs, and the rest she expresses and stores in sterile bottles in the freezer. To be a breast milk donor, your baby needs to be less than 6 months old when you start to donate. Your caffeine and alcohol intake has to be moderate, and you can't smoke or be on medication. Left holding the baby, literally left holding the baby. Do you ever think about the end user of this milk and what it means to them?
Yeah, to think about sort of the little babies who might well be benefiting from it. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a nice thought to think that you could be helping a little sick baby. Yeah, I think that is nice.
Once we've got the milk we need, our work here is done. Thank you so much, Lynette.
No problem.
Bye-bye, Logan.
No problem.
Bye-bye.
If I say to my wife, darling, I'd just like to get out on a motorcycle for a bit, she won't be all that impressed. But if I say to her, darling, I have to deliver milk to premature babies that need it, she's got to let me go.
Lynette's milk will be screened, pasteurised and stored back at the breast milk bank until it's needed to help a premature baby somewhere in Scotland. Babies like Rowan and Richard Hill's triplets. They were the first babies born at Ninewells Hospital in Dundee to receive donor breast milk.
They spent the first 2 weeks of their life in incubators, being fed through tubes and being assisted with the breathing and on drips and everything else. It was quite emotional, really, to see it.
Seeing your babies in incubators, as tiny as they were, with all these wires and oxygen, and it's really scary. With them being so early, my body wasn't ready for them to be here yet, so it took a while for my milk to come through. So with having the donor milk, it took all that pressure off, and I knew that they were getting the right vitamins and protein that they needed. It was amazing that we had the donor milk, and we couldn't have asked for more with them.
The only thing that scares me is knowing that I'm being trusted with 3 small babies, but they'll turn out all right.
And thanks to the donor milk and the support they've received here, babies Oliver, Amelia and Joseph are now ready to leave hospital.